Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Guiney and we're here with AI Wellness TV. I'm your lifestyle architect and we are exploring the Natural Products Expo West here in Anaheim, California. And we're literally looking about what is out there, what's the trends, and what is gonna be best for you when it comes to your health and your wellness when it comes to that. And so leading into this, the theme that we're really gonna focus on is infinite wellness. Infinite wellness, what does that mean? It's how are you gonna live more responsibly, more sustainability? How are you gonna increase your longevity? How are you gonna live you can say more fulfilled life? Because that's what infinite wellness is really about. Today, we have Rick here with MicroSalt, and we're gonna dive into this with the founder of the company and really understand how salt is going to be important in your wellness journey. So thanks, Rick, for joining us.
Hello to be here. Thank you very much.
So kind of introduce yourself, introduce MicroSalt, and then we'll go in from there.
Terrific. Well, my name is Rick Guiney, and I am the CEO of MicroSalt. And all I want you to do is imagine a world where your friends or your relatives or your family members, maybe your grandfather or your son or grandchild, doesn't have to worry about heart disease. Doesn't have to grow up concerned about high blood pressure and all the things that excess sodium brings to our life. We don't realize it because salt is a little teeny grain and we put it on every bit of food. But imagine how much excess salt you put on your food every day, 3 times a day, every day, for let's say your adult life, let's say 25 years. Imagine the pile of sodium you've ingested that you didn't need to ingest. Before MicroSalt's relatively new technology of the food business.
Okay.
Prior to MicroSalt, there really wasn't a viable way for the food business to have the food taste good.
Right.
It's still a lower sodium. The whole thing is, food has to taste good.
Always.
Or it doesn't. You could say, food is medicine and culinary medicine and all that, but if the food doesn't taste good, it's just not worth it. So what we deliver is a way for lower sodium without impacting the flavor of the food.
It's amazing.
Because our patent allows us to work with real salt. So MicroSalt is real salt. It tastes just like salt. It has the same functionality as salt whether you're making cookies or putting it on your steak, or in our case, our whole vision is to help people lower cardiovascular disease no matter where you live, whether you live here in the US or in Canada or in Mexico, across the globe. So we try to talk to people who are the major food manufacturers.
Okay.
The major restaurant chains that might sell, over 1 million servings of French fries. French fries have salt.
Right.
Okay, let's talk to those people.
Right.
And have it taste the same, but lower the sodium. And sodium is it's a difficult thing because you don't feel it when you eat it.
No.
It tastes great.
It does. The salt in it.
But after 20 years, you could do some damage. Your kidneys are damaged, your liver is damaged, all your arteries are exposed to damage, and it's self-imposed. We don't need to do it anymore.
All right. So tell us, what is the concept behind MicroSalt?
Well, what we do is we take salt, and it doesn't matter whatever salt it is. It may be Himalayan pink salt, it could be sea salt from anywhere, it could be mine salt from anywhere.
Okay.
And we have a patented process that allows us to reduce the crystal size to a specific size. But by doing that, we actually increase the surface area. So we make it much more intense with a larger surface area. When the larger surface area impacts your tongue, you get the full flavor you're looking for without ingesting untasted sodium. So we're giving you the flavor profile you're looking for.
Okay.
Or the flavor enhancers that the recipe calls for, but you're not ingesting any excess sodium. If you taste everything you ingest with MicroSalt, you're going to say, yikes, it's too salty, because it's much more strong. It's much more impactful. It allows you to keep your flavor profile and ingest less.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's a different concept.
And it's brilliant in its simplicity.
Yes.
I'm stepping over some of the science and the different size crystals and how we get that and all that.
Right.
But it's simply put, we're giving you your flavor sensation on your tongue with less sodium. Therefore, you're healthier. It's a very straight line process.
In general,
when I make sales presentations on it, and it's a true story, I have a 16-year-old son, and it would be great when he's 55 if he doesn't have high blood pressure. And the only way I'm going to make that happen is if I change the food supply. The food that's served in the schools, the snacks that he buys when I'm not around. We all have teenage kids, and it's like impossible, right?
Right.
And the same applies to me and, my family and everything else.
Okay.
Lower sodium is the way to go.
Interesting. No, and as far as salt itself, because, as I play in the wellness arena, people talk about, the pink Himalayan salts versus, sea salt versus, and there's the real salts and all of those different things that do have their minerals and all of that type of stuff. What does your line do you have that? Do you take some of those type of salts, or is it just any salt that is out there and do that? Because I know there's, in the wellness world, we do iodized salts, and I know that was part of the FDA aspects of it. I know a lot of people are against that type of iodized salts and stuff like that. What is your guys' theory when you created MicroSalt? And it looks like you have a couple of different lines with regards to it and different aspects to it.
Salt's a big category. Now, people use salt huge, and it's used everywhere in the world for different purposes. So we know that MicroSalt has to do different things. So in reference to iodine, we make it with and without iodine. We make it in various degrees of iodine. The requirement in Mexico is different than the requirement in Canada, which is different than the requirement in the US. So we have all different variations just for the iodine thing. In regards to what the minerals are in basic salt, that again changes from where the salt comes from. So it's one of the genius points of our thing is someone says to us, I really want to use Australian sea salt. I think it tastes better. I think it has got a mineral content. No problem. Our process works for any kind of salt. Now, we sell MicroSalt, and so we've selected a couple of basic salt formulas that we think address as many markets as possible. We have two kinds. We have sea salt, and we have mine salt. Personal comment here, I will say that mine salt coming from the ground is sea salt. It just is several thousand years older, and some may argue purer, because in today's world, basically since World War II, the oceans have become polluted. So is the sea salt out of the polluted ocean cleaner than the stuff that's been in the ground for 3,000 years? I don't know. We can talk about that.
Right? There's arguments.
There's an argument going both ways. So MicroSalt offers as many options as we can, because we realize that the cardiovascular disease issue is global. And there's local salts to a lot of different places in the world, and we're here to help everybody. Amazing. So literally easy. It's just salt. Just salt.
You're just using less, because essentially, simply put, there's more surface area because it's so tiny. That the taste is really what we're all about. It's not the amount of sodium, it's really the taste that we get out of it is really what people are looking for. And because it's so micronized, it actually punches the flavor up.
Very well put. Good job. I'm going to hire you.
Thank you.
When you use it in the kitchen, you salt your food to taste. And your first experience with MicroSalt will be, wow, it's really strong. I'm going to put less in. And that's what we want, because we want to use less sodium. So we want that first reaction. And then after that, as if you use it on salads, your steaks, and all that works. And when you get into the food manufacturing realm, we suggest that the manufacturers start with an 80-20 application, like 80% of what you were putting in. You're going to save 20%. And you're going to be just about where you were before on your salt flavors. There is some reformulation required when, if you take 20% of something out of your formula, you no longer have 100%, you have 80. So you have to balance it out. But, there's plenty of scientists in the food world that can figure that stuff out. It works at home.
Wow.
It works in all kinds of kitchens. We have a couple of different things. Some of this stuff is for sale on Amazon. Most of our efforts are with the food manufacturer.
So two-pronged approach for the business.
Absolutely.
Amazing. So for those that want to reach out to you guys, how do they reach out to you guys?
I would suggest you just hit our website. It's microsaltinc.com. There's a contact box on the bottom, and we are very good about getting back to people. and interacting with anyone who wants more information about MicroSalt. We'd love to have that conversation.
Amazing. Thank you so much for joining us and kind of re-educating us about salt, because I think it's very, very important.
Very happy to be here.
All right, guys, this is AI Wellness TV. Thanks for joining us. Look out for possibly this time our AI Wellness vending machines. Definitely throw our AI Wellness mirrors in the marketplace. Check it all out. We're going to probably be at the Anaheim Fit Expo. We're going to be at Mr. Olympia this year. So hopefully we can convince MicroSalt to be there with us. But other than that, check us out at www.aiwellness.ai. Thanks for joining us on AI Wellness TV.